Welcome, everybody, to another fabulous week of Wednesday Night Shooting. I am Tonya Rogers, who finished from cage side seats at the moment, and I'll explain that later. And I'm also here with lovely Andrew M. Swift. Say hello to all the peeps out there.
Hi, folks.
Okay. WWE. Couple of events go on this weekend, and Saturday we're going to start and we're going to talk about NXT Takeover and Takeover because I can't keep up. This is just so on like naming them interesting things.
Yeah, now that's just cities.
Okay, well, I guess that'll work. You go ahead and give your thoughts about the overall event. What's the actual?
I watched the show. Saturday night I saw Louis C.K. do a show in DC, so I didn't watch the show until like midnight. I didn't watch Takeover until midnight, and so that was entertaining. Like for some reason, even though the only match I really wanted to watch was the tag match, and I guess the women's championship match, but I sat through the whole thing, and I actually kind of liked the show. I even liked the stuff that I didn't expect to like. Like I enjoyed. Like I'm not really a huge fan of either Dillinger or Rude, but I didn't think their match was great or anything, but I was entertained by it. The Dusty Classic, that was bad. It wasn't bad, it was just there. And like I feel like they want to make that tournament a bigger deal, and neither of those two teams, help elevate the prestige of the tournament. So that was weird. And the whole like Ellering in the shark cage, like I know it's the throwback to the last battle of Atlanta or wherever the hell that was. But I don't know, it was odd, especially because like in the build up, I had like kind of stopped watching the tag team tournament matches.
So did I.
Like the last month or so of NXT, I've been like haven't been watching all the way through. I've been like watching at 8:00 Eastern time, but like watching it not in the live feed, but like the with the uploaded video feed, so that I could just kind of skip around. And I mostly avoided all the Dusty matches because I just didn't care. It's partially because spoilers, like I knew everything that was going to happen. But usually I don't have an issue with that. Usually that's fine. So I don't. This tournament, like after like the first round, nothing really grabbed me in it, and I don't think that's a good sign.
Well, see, this is the thing. I read some of the spoilers, and it kind of looked like from the jump that Authors of Pain were going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
And they do absolutely nothing for me. So I was like, okay, I can just ignore that part of NXT.
Right, yeah.
Into that match. Actually, I was on the phone with my sister for like the first hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
So the tag team 2 out of 3 falls match began. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to talk to you tomorrow. So that's when the show started for me, which is amazing.
Which you didn't really miss a whole lot, not going.
Not paying attention.
Not paying to the first hour. But yeah, that tag match was, I've watched that match like 4 times. Like, and you know what's funny? When I was like literally like an hour and a half ago when I was thinking about like this show, I actually like wrote some notes down, believe it or not. I was like, oh man, I've watched that match 4 times in like a week and a half. And like I just thought that to myself, and then like a minute later I was like, wait, that was like 5 days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it doesn't there's been so much like scraps in the meantime that it's so far like back. You know? Like I can't even remember anything that happened on Raw.
I can, but I'll remind you.
We'll get to that.
Talk about that
match.
The Revival versus DIY. They have such great chemistry. Like parts were when he had the tag team title and Johnny Wrestling kicked it.
Yeah.
Behind the rep, and I thought like it was over then. All the false finishes. The best part was the finish. Like I was holding my breath for like the last 5 minutes of that match.
Yeah.
I was like, it was such a great manipulation of like emotions that last 5 minutes, and then to have them both submissions holding on to each other, like
yeah.
And then they were like fucking, and they both
tap. Yeah.
You couldn't really have a better tag team match. I don't think.
You really can't. That's the best tag team match I've seen in my life. I don't think it's. Well, okay. I take that back. I did see that All Japan women's match back from '94. That was really good. The Hokuto match. So, but this was the best. This was right up there. Like this was so good. I tell you what, and like. I didn't actually, coming out of the show, I like looked at Twitter, and so I saw that Joe had won, and I was like, well, that's weird, you know? And I think I had seen that like Asuka had retained, but I didn't know the result of the tag. I like immediately stopped looking at my phone because I didn't want to know the result of the tag team match. Even though I like knew like DIY was probably winning, you know, like I was pretty certain. I didn't want to be sure of it, you know? So like, all those false finishes at the end, like the bit where the Revival were gonna do their DIY's tandem finisher, the knee super kick combo, and then he ducks and dash super kicks Dawson, and then Ciampa rolls into the ring and they do the shatter machine. I was like, oh, I lost my shit. I also started drinking when I got home, so I was losing my shit at like 1 a.m. watching that tag match hours after it finished. But like I thought that was the finish for sure, even though I knew Dawson was laying in the ring, and then he just broke it up by like not even half a second. I was like, oh my god! I was like, this match is lit. Everything about it was just wonderful. The Revival. I was thinking about this. The Revival. I'm gonna make a comparison here. Let's see if you can figure out who I'm talking about. The Revival are the best opponents of Enzo and Cass, American Alpha, and DIY. They're the common thread in those really great feuds. Like I liked the London match with Enzo and Cass. It was nowhere near like any of the Alpha matches or any of the DIY matches. It was still a pretty fun tag match. And they totally had the crowd bite on the false fall at the end. But yeah, so they have elevated like every feud they've been in and been the best opponent. And I just kept thinking, and I was thinking, and I was like, these really great heels have best matches with all of their opponents. And it reminded me of a certain somebody who happens to get the best matches out of all of her opponents. So.
Oh, you're talking about Charlotte, right?
That was not planned, folks. That was not planned. Holy shit. Oh, man. Woo.
We happen to be talking about that's standing next to my emperor in my photo.
Yeah, I am having to talk about that lady. But yeah, yes, Charlotte. Oh, shit. Woo.
No, I had
No,
I literally I could talk about that tag match for an hour, but
for sure, yeah.
Oscar versus Mickey James.
Mm-hmm.
Now the smart when like everybody, oh, Trish was the best. Everybody loved Trish out, and when people say that Trish Stratus was universally loved during her run, they because she wasn't. There was a point where it was all Trish all the time, Trish,
Mm-hmm.
and she was fine, but some of us wanted something different. And then in came Mickey James. She like that match she had with Oscar. Like seriously, I've seen periods of her where she might be going through issues, especially in WWE, where they piggy James and they make her get breast implants.
Mm-hmm.
She looks better than she has. Like there was no difference from like the Mickey that went against. Even be better now because it's less about moves and awing the crowd. And that match, it was so much psychology. I was gagging on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just like, oh my goodness. And I love the fact that Mickey, it wasn't like a squash. Oscar wasn't like a beast just beating down Mickey. Mickey was like, she was doing her little reversals and Mickey would reverse her ass back. Like, it was almost like, I am your equal. And Oscar got up and looked at her. She looked right back at her. And oh my God, like those two had. They were barely talking. There was hardly any banter. It was just body language and looks. And badass Oscar when she got on the ropes and was counting with the referee 1, 2. I was like, look at Oscar, show her her ass. The only complaint is that I kind of felt like the match ended abruptly.
Abruptly, yeah.
Like, I thought there was a little bit more that I felt like it was nearing the end, but they usually have like a big, like Oscar kicks the shit out of somebody.
Right.
They pass out, but they had Mickey do the tap. I can understand why that was the finish, because obviously they had to give time to all the fake violinists.
Oh, God.
What Gino said about that, but when we get to that, but I just loved that match.
Yeah,
Nick on the main roster on Raw and beat Charlotte. Bring back all the part-timers running everything on Raw. Goldberg Universal Champion and Mickey James.
First of all, that's happening. Goldberg is going to be champion. Let's all admit this.
Yeah, he will.
I was mostly out of wrestling from like 1998, 99 to like basically late 2014. But there was like a 6-8 month period in like 2005, 2006, after Eddie Guerrero died, that I was like briefly back into it. And I feel like I caught some of the single white female feud with Mickey James and Trish Stratus, but I didn't really know what I was watching. I didn't really have context for it. And I wasn't like a hardcore fan, so I didn't really, look into it all that much. But I was always like impressed. She always impressed me back in, the mid-aughts. And so I was happy to see her come back and show that she's totally still has it. And like, she absolutely, like, if she wanted to, and like, they should be giving her a spot on Raw for sure, because they need bodies. Like, they need people who can work, and especially people who can talk. Although,
you know what?
Here's the thing. Here's the
way more than the body.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing, though. Since she's like a veteran coming back, they might actually let her have input on what she says. So, like, that might actually work really well. Although, for some reason, they just won't do it for people currently in the division. But yeah, so I was I was a huge fan of that match. I hope she comes back and does more stuff. And I've always, even back in the mid-aughts and even still today, I have a massive crush on her. Like, she is just.
Good God.
Yeah.
Mickey James. Like, when that stuff started, I was an adult by then. But I was in like early 20s about sexuality and stuff. And I was like, well, Trish may be offended, but she can have a crush on me and be my number one. I like them crazy anyway. I like them crazy. Okay, so we're all thinking Ember Moon, who just like, I was the first one when I was like, you know what? If they just let her wear the red contacts and not try to say she's mysterious and just have her come out be an ass kicker, that's because she fucking wants to. That's why. That way. But it's been such a drag. I think she could be like the next name.
Yeah.
They have to have something about her.
Like, even not necessarily like a super drawn out story, but a like defined character. Like, we don't know who she is, you know?
She's mysterious.
Like, that's not a good character.
That's a character trait.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good character trait, but like as the sole like basis, you need more than that, you know?
Crow Sting was mysterious.
Yeah, well, Crow Sting had like 2 decades behind him of a career, you know, so that's a little bit different. Yeah, so
they had enough time to like. They could have had a story with her and Mandy.
Yeah.
Got old. I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah, It's a mystery. I mean, right now they're focusing really hard on the Icons versus Liv plus whoever, you know, which is interesting. I don't know if like it's strange that they're not putting Ember into her own like feud and like building her character through that sort of thing. So I don't know. But you think she's going to be the next challenger at like the Rumble in like 2 months? Or who do you think is going to be?
I think they'll drag it out till Mania.
You think it'll be until Mania? Who's going to be the challenger in January?
For Asuka.
Yeah, for Asuka.
They could keep Nikki in NXT.
Yeah, they could do another match.
Yes, they definitely could, and I wouldn't be mad at it. But I would also want them to do with other women to build them up. Like Nia Jax got legitimately built up while Bayley was having her story.
Yeah.
So when they met in London, those colliding, and it just seems like I need a reason to want to see Asuka fight each other.
Yeah. Yeah, you need something to draw you in. Like the match itself would be like, oh, there's a lot of fun offense, you know. But like you need a bigger hook than that. And they did kind of tease like, and like the rumor was like Asuka heel turn maybe, you know, there was the speculation about that. And they did do the thing at the end of the match where she didn't shake Mickey's hand, like she just raised the belt in her face. So maybe there's like slow playing that a little bit, and they'll have another match in where is it? San Antonio? Yeah, in January. And then they'll do like a full heel turn for Asuka there. But because I would like to see, because all right, so for a very long time in the NXT women's division, it's been like on takeovers, lots of face women's championship matches. Like Asuka Mickey is face. Asuka Bayley is face. Asuka Nia is obviously face heel, but Asuka Bayley is face. You know, so I would like to get a feud where it's like a really strong like face character versus a really strong heel character, and I don't think you can really make a really strong face character out of Asuka, especially because the language barrier like makes it hard to really gets a character over with a crowd. Like you can be into her and like be like, oh yeah, she's cool, I want to see her matches, but like you're not like living or dying with her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they kind of have to turn her heel.
They talk for her, even if they turn her heel. The aversion to managers.
Yeah.
When, like, the top acts in the company, even New Day has a fucking manager.
Yeah.
The top acts in the company, except for like AJ Styles, the people who are getting most of the heat have managers. Certain guys who can't fucking talk, but are pretty good otherwise. Managers, whether they're face or heel, and then there's people out there that can talk, like the dude Stokely.
Oh, Stokely Hathaway, yeah.
He is my heart. Because he's just, like, he's everything that I would probably be if I were a heel manager. Like, everything. Like, see, except the female version. And I was like, I love him. I saw one video. He needs to be in the WWE getting people over. It's ridiculous that he's not.
Yeah.
It is. Bad. But yeah, let's get to the main event, which, boy, Shinsuke falling down my list. Listen, okay, I love me some Nakamura, but boy, you got to sell your legs. And if see, here's the issue I have anyway. If Joe's going after Nakamura's legs and that's his main line of offense, then don't go after his leg.
Yeah, don't book it that way.
Exactly. I don't know whose idea it was to do that. Because that threw, like, when Joe... But that shit threw me off. I was already thrown off with, like, and yes, Gino, I know I'm watching fake fighting. But if the fake fight looks shitty, I'm going to say this is a shitty looking fake fight. Don't we always say it?
Yeah, so, yeah.
I was in a music class. I played musical instruments. If you can pantomime, like air guitar, air violin, cared if they weren't playing, if they were all moving the same. Yeah, you're playing the same instrument. Why is one person going frantic and the other one's just playing it slow? I'm like, did y'all rehearse at all? Who is this? And then Honey Child, the only one who should have been out there was Honey Girl that was in the ring with the red hair that was just, she was jamming. I'll give her props, but everybody else, they get an F. Effort. That ruined Nakamura's interest for me. It did. What should have been like, I know people are like, oh, but Joe and blah, blah, blah. I love Samoa Joe. I think he wasn't, like, they keep booking him as a heel. Guys who are smaller than him. But then they have these smaller guys stand toe-to-toe with him and kick his ass. Taylor. So, like, he talks. He's great. Everybody says that. Then the matches, I'm like, yeah. But what the one match that everybody liked Samoa Joe was the one where Joe was bleeding and pushing people out the way. Yeah. Because, it was Samoa Joe. And in a match, the last real time I saw it was when he faced Baron Corbin, actually. He looked like a shit kicker. He hasn't been against Nakamura. Not against Finn. I'll give him a little bit more for Nakamura. This man has never won it. The last person he beat at TakeOver was Baron Corbin. So I was glad he won. I was. And I was like, there. I don't know who they're gonna go back to, or if they're just gonna trade. It's like about the men's main event scene, but it's like, where is it going? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a very good question. And like, that's the issue everyone has been raising lately. Like, NXT hasn't been building stuff, but which is not entirely true. Like, they've been slow to build stuff with the women, but they are at least starting to do that, like, definitively. Tag division has been great for a very long time now with, Revival, DIY, Alpha, all that jazz. That stuff's been awesome. But the men's division has been pretty boring, in all honesty, since like Kevin Owens left. None of Finn's matches or feuds really got over huge with me, other than his last match with Nakamura when he worked heel. And
Oh my
Joe's,
God, that was great.
that was fun, yeah. And Joe's stuff has been like, he's a great talker and really great character. He can really pitch the story well and get it across. But then the match happens and it just sort of fizzles. And it's like maybe they just need to stop having the men automatically main event. Like, like have the tags main event, have the women main event. Like,
whoever is the high, that's what it always should have been with NXT.
Yeah.
Break from generation. But Triple H isn't a millennial like us.
Right.
He doesn't really.
Yep.
Like, he's trying, but he doesn't really get it. If you're trying to appeal to us, we want the storyline to main event. That's what we care. The one that everybody's hyped to see, the one that everybody cares about. That's the story we feel should go on last.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to say about the show before we move on to the real roster?
The real roster. I enjoyed the show quite a bit, even though, like, the main was kind of underwhelming. I'd be like 3.25 or whatever, maybe 3.5 for it. But like the tag match was awesome. I really liked the women's match. So I don't know. It was weird because takeovers are so elevated by how hyped the crowd is. Like, always. Like, there's never really been a takeover that just fell flat because of a crowd. Crowds always elevate, like, even mediocre matches, even like Rude, like Dillinger got over big because the crowd was like super hyped for it. So, it makes a huge difference when the promotion is a babyface to its fan base. And it really lifts, a rising tide lifts all boats. So
and let's segue. That's perfect to segue.
right? Yeah.
It is. Because here's I don't know. I'm purely confident that a lot of us, and I don't include myself in this one particularly, are being worked with Raw and SmackDown. And I realized it last week. Brands interacted with each other on their respective shows. Shit, Raw is the heel brand and SmackDown is the babyface. Doesn't matter who's wrestling for them. When it's Raw versus SmackDown, heel brand, everybody hates Raw. SmackDown, everybody loves SmackDown. And that was what happened in the pay-per-view. Now, it was kind of weird. I went with people all during the match who they like, because Bailey got booed. I'm just talking about overall about the whole theme of the show. But we'll get into the individual matches. But for the most part, if a person was a heel, they got booed. The thing with Cesaro and Sheamus shows that they will still end the boot individuals over brand. But if it's like certain people, and Raw is a heel show, is because of Roman Reigns. And if you are listening and you're a Roman Reigns fan and you say, no, that's not true. Well, I suggest that you go back and watch as soon as Seth Rollins gets eliminated from the men's. That is when the crowd, that is the first time the entire night the crowd starts cheering for SmackDown to win the match. So,
Yeah.
and let's break down the individual matches. First of all, we're gonna have to talk about the main event. How about that? All I said was nah, son. No.
Hmm.
Brock Lesnar got squashed. It's on video. There's video evidence.
That was mind blowing. Like, I don't know. It's funny. It's funny because I was like, it was great. Like, it was great. Like, I know the complaints like you didn't give it to like a young guy or whatever, but you know what? The fact that they basically just like ripped the Band-Aid off with Brock, they're just like, fuck it. You know, like I was like, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Then Goldberg's huge, so you can put like a big heel over him. You can put a big Roman Reigns heel over him, which would be fire, you know? But they're not going to do that. But I was just
like seriously looking at Goldberg and like ripping him straight and saying, I'm everything that you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like shit.
I know. It'd be lit. It'd be so lit. But it was just bizarre because it was just like, all right, shoves him down. I was just like, okay, whatever. So I was like, oh, great. They're going to like 50-50 this for like 15 minutes. Like that was the thought in my head. I was like, this is going to go forever and it's going to suck, especially because it was so early, you know? Like, and they had said this is a 4-hour show and there was still like 40 minutes left. So I was like, well, okay, like this, I don't know how they're going to drag this shit out. I was like, who the fuck's showing up in this match? Is The Rock coming in, you know? Like, I don't know. So then the spear hit, and I was like, okay, all right. And then he hits another one, and I'm like, all right. And then he gets him up in the jackhammer, and I'm like, as soon as he lifted him in the jackhammer, I was like, he's pinning him. I was like, he's fucking pinning him right here. Yeah. If it was one spear and a jackhammer, I would have been like, but 2 spears and a jackhammer, I was like, he's finna fucking pin him. And then they did, and it was just like, all right. Nah, son. Nah, son. Okay, you know?
It's not happening. That was great. See, WWE will give you the moments, won't they?
They'll give you the moments. Yeah, exactly. And now, like, the whole thing of, like, Goldberg's coming for the Rumble, and now they're talking about Brock's going to be in the Rumble, and they're probably going to eliminate each other, and then have a match at Mania. It's like, no, Goldberg's 2-0 up, and he just won an all-time squash. Why would they have another match? Nobody wants to root. Nobody wants to root for Brock to like win. You know. I don't. It's just. It seems so silly. Like you've done something fresh, and then you're just like, all right, we gotta ruin that.
Keep on shining.
So like even when they do something really well, like they can't get out of their own way sometimes, you know.
Yeah, but let's talk about Mania. If it's title involved, and what does that mean for Kevin Owens?
I don't know what the hell is going to happen with Kevin Owens. I have no idea. Like, he's going to be in some match. That's all I have. I don't know. Is Jericho still going to be around? I thought Jericho was like leaving or something.
I don't know. I have absolutely no. He's probably going to be. Who knows about Jericho? He's so over. Him and that list is so freaking over. That
stupid fucking list.
Okay. We can go backwards. Let's talk about that stupid fucking list.
Yeah.
And okay, see, this was the main event, but this is my favorite match for personal reasons. Because 2 people that I got what was coming to their ass. James Ellsworth. And by the way, I'm starting to see where they're going with Braun Strowman.
Oh,
I don't think he performed. Like they calling my boy reckless, but he the one tossing AJ Styles out the ring and almost hit his head on the apron. I was like, damn. Okay.
that's just because AJ's gonna AJ though. Like his bumps he takes, like he deliberately takes these bumps. He's like, I'm gonna make this look as insane as possible.
I still didn't like it, but I enjoyed him killing Ellsworth. He just took him and tossed him through the damn table. I was like, yeah. I was rooting for Team Raw. Seriously.
I wasn't really rooting for anybody in that match.
Up until the end. Okay, I was rooting for Team Raw for something for KO, but Wyatt won. I'll go with that. Because he needs something. Anything. He needs anything, so I'm cool with that. I also noticed that everybody wore their team colors, their team shirts, except for he had a little strip on the side of his pants. While everybody noticed that Roman had the same one. Nobody said anything about braids. Rollins, of course, with the ugliest collaboration.
That was so awful.
Who thought you?
Seth went up to Makazi and was like, all right, so I got this really great idea. And he's like, let's stitch together my shirt and a Raw shirt. This is going to be really great. And Makazi was probably just like, all right, man. All right, cool. Sure.
I was impressed by everybody who was under the age of 40 in that match. Like, they wrestled for almost a fucking hour.
It was so long.
I know other people didn't like it, but the shame parts I liked because Team Raw is over and over. Capitalized by Roman. Like, okay, some people were claiming they have never seen this spot before, and I was like, you lying. That's the same thing he did to AJ Styles. But Shane McMahon is not fucking AJ Styles. So what happens when somebody who shouldn't be springboarding off something is going to get speared by in his fucking prime? Exactly what happened. Murder, death, kill. I was so hyped for the match after that. Like, I was like, oh, this is dragging on. And Shane's been in the match for fucking ever. Like, I'm tired of looking at this. And then Roman's like, I was like, yeah. Okay. So let's go and get into this Shield stuff. Because you said we're going to have to talk about it. So I'm ready here. Because I wasn't commenting a lot on the match. I was in the thread, though. And I saw you write, fuck the Shield. I saw that. And I just want to say why. What did they do to you as a unit? We enjoyed the Shield, most of us that watched. I will never stop defending those three guys together. I'm sorry. And every time they do something like this, I'm going to be hype as a motherfucker for it. And it wasn't like Ambrose was just coming out there for the hell of it. He had a reason. And he was like, shit, that's his brothers anyway. They're down. Like AJ, he didn't help them beat up anyone but AJ Styles. I know it's not a real reunion. It's never going to be a real reunion. You notice they didn't do the fist and none of that. They just did a triple powerbomb and right. What do you got against this, Andrew?
Well, okay. I mean, I wasn't watching during their run, so I don't have like a really strong. I don't have the memories of a strong positive association.
Network.
Yeah, I don't.
Network.
I'm too busy watching. I'm too busy going back and watching every tag team match the Revival has ever had. That's a shoot. But yeah, so I don't have that history with them, and so all I've seen is like their various struggles and failures to whatever degrees that all have had as singles competitors. And I said I wasn't rooting for anybody, but I was definitely rooting for SmackDown. I definitely remember now that I was totally rooting for SmackDown because I just felt very partisan. You know, I'm the SmackDown reviewer. I felt like I needed to root for my Blue Boys. And I just don't like Ross. So it makes sense. So when Dean came back out, I was, and you know my feelings about Dean, like I have complicated feelings about Dean Ambrose, which we'll talk about later when we get to Smack with last night's stuff.
So in other words, you don't really know the Shield.
I know.
No, you're saying fuck these three guys that have collectively failed.
Yes.
All three of them together. So you should just say fuck Roman, Dean, and Seth. Don't say fuck the Shield. Legitimately, and I've seen so many factions. One of the best factions, period, in the history of wrestling, and they were broken up too soon. Way too soon. I saw people lying because I went back and watched. They were like, the crowd was dead as fuck for it. No, they were not. As soon as Dean came out, they were like, oh shit, they finna do it. Then when security was pulling them back, when Roman and Seth, go back and watch. The crowd, everybody started standing up when Roman and Seth attacked that security. They went ape shit. They were like, yes, 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 yes. Shit, and then after that was over, it was back to okay, we want SmackDown. It's greatest RKO ever. I think it was better than.
Oh, that was great. That was
because he was about to do a frog. It was a frog splash into an RKO.
Yeah.
So,
and he got him like kind of high up too.
Yes, Randy came in like precision. Wham! It slid right back out like a snake. I loved Randy all night.
That was beautiful. Yeah, that was really good. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a pretty big AJ fan right now, so I was annoyed because there was just a lot of stuff going into that when I was like, fuck the Shield, man. There was like wine in it. I was been drinking wine, so you know that contributed.
Vince understands how much people hate Roman Reigns because he booked him in the final stretch, 2-on-1 situation.
And they were cheering for them too.
And they were cheering for them.
Yeah. Let's go SmackDown.
Right. Like he came out there. He did not. I was so proud of him. He didn't even have on his red vest.
Yeah.
I was like, he said, fuck that. I'm on Team Roman.
Team Roman. Team Braun and Team Roman. Braun Roman. Universal Championship match. Main event of SummerSlam, right? Let's do it.
They said that's the rumor for WrestleMania.
For Mania, yeah. I don't know how you get to that at Mania. Like, is it going to be is that for the title or not at all?
Title.
Oh, for the U.S. title. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, I can't wait. Like, if Roman don't, this one WrestleMania event. Fuck. Seriously, I might boycott it. Like, the rest of WrestleMania would have to be so fucking lit. Unless I'm not gonna watch the match. I don't care because it's like on principle. Everybody should get up and walk out the fucking arena. Like, seriously. And this is me, somebody who loves him. Enough is enough. Okay, let's talk about the women because I know you felt some type of way about this match. I actually thought everybody performed well. I enjoyed it. And Jax was the star of the match, followed by Alexa Bliss. And then the ending stretch with Becky and Bayley was fun. The star was Charlotte. It's all. There were 10 women out there. The only one who stood tall was the Wyatt family was a collection at the end of their match. It was a whole group of people stood tall at the men's match. The only person doesn't count. They made a joke out of her at this point. Only woman that stood tall after all of those women were out there performing was one woman. That's the problem that the Raw women's division had. No matter what's happening, all the storylines is going to be one woman. That was the only problem I had with it. She could have attacked her the next day or something. Like, fuck, let Bayley. Bayley finally fucking won something. She earned that. But I know it builds heat. As if Charlotte needs any more fucking heat. Okay, you go ahead.
So the like I immediately like in the match I was really annoyed how they not took Sasha out. Like that's just like really bringing my spirits down for real. But I don't even want to talk about that. They booked it like it would have been so easy to give Bayley real shine in that match, like make her look really good, like a really big star, and then still have Charlotte do her shitty stuff and not actually like survive. Like it would have been very easy to do a scenario where it's like 3-2, Charlotte and Bayley left. Charlotte, Becky knocks out Charlotte, so it's 3-1, okay? And then they can just have Charlotte laying around ringside or some shit, or they can knock her out way early in the match, and then like after Bayley wins, she can come down to like clap her and celebrate and then attack her. But they engineered a scenario where Bayley was booed, not big time, but got boos, which is just unbelievably stupid. And they did it just so they could work the Charlotte angle. Like they just were like, all right, well, we need Charlotte to be there to have this beatdown because it's all about Charlotte. Even if they wanted to do that, there are other ways. There are other ways to get to that point that make other people also look good. They had Bayley in the match. Bayley didn't get in the match. Bayley didn't get in the match until the last finishing stretch. She was in it for like 2 seconds earlier when she tagged in, and then Charlotte tagged in immediately. That was it, other than the last final stretch. Like, you could have had her been put on, like, some crazy fighting, babyface comeback 3-1 down performance and, like, have a huge, like, reaction to that. But they don't – it was the same thing with, like, Sasha. It was just like, all right, well, she's not factoring into the finish, so it doesn't matter how we take her out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And I don't know. It is what it is at this point, Like, Alexa got a huge pop when she entered the match, which was awesome to see. I did not expect that at all. Like, the crowd was like, she tagged in, and crowd was like, yeah! And I was like, oh, shit, I didn't...
This, right?
I was like, I didn't see that shit coming. Like, oh, man, that was great. So that's great. SmackDown's getting folks over, and Raw's not. So, that's what it is. And that's what Daniel Bryan said on Talking Smack. And like in whatever, interviews or whatever, is like SmackDown elevates people, and it's true. That's what it's been doing the whole time.
And like you say, you can't remember anything that happened on Raw.
I know that's not true. I can.
But it did. Like, okay.
But nothing was like important, I didn't feel like if I wouldn't have seen the episode, I would have missed anything that next week if I watch, then I'd be like, oh, I don't understand what's going on because I missed last week. That will never happen on Raw because that's just not how it's structured.
It's weird. I don't know. Oh, Daniel Bryan killed the Cruiserweights, which, like, everything else from Survivor Series, like, it really was like those were the 3 big matches. Everything else was fine, but, like what I said when we were talking about the swapping titles on the shows, and I was like, they're probably not gonna swap.
They're not
titles.
gonna do it. Yeah.
About this shit for no reason.
Yeah.
WWE, of course. Like we just have Goldberg squash Lesnar, so we don't really have to try that hard. And we're gonna make our main eventers wrestle an hour-long match. Cool.
It was
Okay.
It was a very weird card. Like on Sunday, like the betting odds, like I'd been following them for like since like Friday night, and they like hadn't moved at all. And then all of a sudden on Sunday at like, I don't know, 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock or so, they moved real fast, and like everything switched. Like everything before was like people's speculation, and then the smart money came in, which was like the exact opposite. So like Lesnar was a huge favorite, and then like 10 minutes later, Goldberg was like a minus 900 favorite, and it was just like, holy shit. And it's like the same was true with like the SmackDown men's team and Miz Zayn and Kendrick Kalisto, and it's just like, wow, they've booked a show tonight. Like we'll see what's happening, you know. So I mean, like I was cranky for a lot of the show, and like I'm still annoyed at a lot of it, but like I still liked it because it was like ridiculous pro wrestling for a lot of it. So I don't know. It's a hard balancing act to like be like, all right, this was bad because because it doesn't make sense, or because the booking is poor or whatever. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, this was fun because pro wrestling is fucking ridiculous, and that was fucking ridiculous, you know. So I don't know. That's the struggle I've been having lately.
Yeah, well, I it's anything that I have is really not a knock on anybody who performed. I thought everybody was just like on their A game on Saturday and Sunday. I will say that. I don't think anybody was just like, just punching in, just even Goldberg and Lesnar.
Yeah.
Even Lesnar in his squash, he was brilliant in his facial expressions and body language and all that. Sometimes he can look like he don't care.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about. I mean, there's nothing happened on Raw. What? I mean,
the only things this is actually true. The only things I remember from Raw are Jericho and Owens segment, which that got over with me big. I'm not gonna lie, that killed me. Like they were doing the whole breakup thing, and I was like, I don't really care, like I've not been big on this act or whatever. And then when they were just like both said Roman Reigns, I died. I was like, all right, that's pretty good, especially because those two guys knew that would get a massive babyface reaction in Toronto, which it did. So I was just like, oh man, this is like, let's bring back the political hit, because this is like, these are two heels who are supposed to be getting over the face, and they're just totally shitting on him. They're just kind of leaning into it, I guess. I don't know. Raw doesn't make any sense. And then there was like the women's stuff, the tag match. I remember that. That's all I remember.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, you say that, but then that reminded me. Like they could politically hit Roman. I don't think at this point he has zero fucks to give.
Oh yeah, he doesn't care. He's making that money.
He's a face. In choosing the tables, he goes over to the Spanish announce team. Is like, I want this table. I don't like these guys. Get up. And I'm like, nobody who's been in wrestling for like a month thinks a face would say that.
Right.
He carries his belt. Like, he knows it bothers people. He's going to continue to, like, he's not trying to get you. He doesn't. He's like, look, if they give me something I care about, I'll do it. With all this other bullshit, like, fuck. I'm getting paid. Exactly. The women's segment, yeah, it looks like Sasha is gonna get killed now, and losing Charlotte sometime in the near future.
Next week.
It's that segment actually got me like, yeah, my theory of that they're building up Nia is correct then, because those were the two most important people in segment. And I mean, they're not going to turn Nia Jax's face. Oh, okay. That's the match. It's only because Nia like sneezed in front of Vince or some bullshit like that. But like, that's the match. WrestleMania.
Really? You think that's the Mania match? I don't think that's.
Yep.
I think Ronda is going to show up.
I think Ronda's going to show up. I don't think she's going to be wrestling this year. She's going to be wrestling. She's a professional. She'd already be training, right?
No.
It's December. Has anybody heard rumors that she's training for him?
I have no idea. I just...
believe that rumor. I'll believe it when it happens.
When it happens,
if they book Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte, then everybody, I don't know how they're going to feel, because Ronda Rousey is going to squash Charlotte. She is going to be like, Charlotte's going to beat Ronda Rousey. No, she's not. Are you kidding me? It's how badly Vince wants to be in the press. He's going to beat Ronda Rousey, sure. Yeah. Sure he is.
Yeah, all I know about that match is that it will take all the attention in the division away from if they even do a Sasha Bayley feud. So I'm not looking forward to it at all.
I don't think Sasha Bayley is on the plans.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is either. And
because here's the question about Sasha versus Bayley. How does that make Charlotte look good?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe they'll have Charlotte. Here's a thought. Here's a sadistic thought that just ran through my head. Maybe they'll have Charlotte squash Bayley at Roadblock or whatever, and then at the Rumble, Charlotte gets bored and vacates the title. Vacates the title because she's like, no one can fight me, whatever. And then Ronda shows up later in the segment or something at the Rumble. Boom, there you go. That makes Charlotte look good. Be like, here, you two little dorks can fight for the title.
No, the title's involved. No, it's gonna be that title's not going anywhere from Charlotte. Ric Flair, and who mentioned like, Becky Lynch, it's gonna be her turn soon. This is before the draft. He screamed, and that you stupid motherfucker. That's my daughter's division.
Yeah.
That's when I realized the light bulb went off. I was like, oh, Rick knows something. Definitely knows something we don't know. So it's Charlotte's division until it isn't. That's going to be anytime soon. SmackDown was a great show, though. SmackDown was the land of the crazy people.
That was so good, yeah.
Say about Ellsworth, and I'll let you... Like, it's his performance. I don't really dig him personally. The story of this loser who's pissing off this impossible dickhead champion, and then here's this in this angle to me in such a way like it's not over the top. But it's like more like laid back, reserved, kind of wacky, and it's hilarious to me. And if it gets Dean over, cool, keep him around. Like some people are a little too vicious with James Ellsworth. Like the man is living his dream. That's why I kind of like just say I don't like him. People be going like he is dividing the wrestling community.
Yeah.
AJ Styles again, like it's a fluke. Should be able to lose as the champion in 100 fluke matches. because they're not legitimate. And everybody knows this guy is not legitimately pinning. Ambrose is clearly cheating for this man every single time. Like, Ambrose even telegraphed that he was going to interfere in the ladder match because Shane kicked him out, and he kept coming back.
Kept coming back every time, yeah.
When he showed up in that mountain,
that was great. That was great. Like the whole night, it was like he was doing his whole like Wacky Dean stuff, you know. And so I was just like, oh god damn it, Wacky Dean's here again. And then he came in, he walked in, and I was like, I couldn't tell. I was like, is he doing a Mountie cosplay? And then I was like, oh my god, he really is. So that got over with me huge. Like I saw somebody like in the recap comments who was like, man, I thought Andrew was gonna go in. I thought he was going to go in on Dean for being wacky or whatever. And I was like, I was thinking about it, let me tell you, until he cosplayed as the Mountie and said the Mountie always gets his man. Like that killed me. Because the whole time I was just thinking about that match with the Big Boss Man, you know, like that's a memory from my childhood, you know. So that brought a big smile on my face. I loved it. That was great. I thought that was great, and it honestly it got over like Dean so much with me. So maybe he just needs to cosplay as old wrestlers, and that will end any criticisms I have of him. Apparently, I don't know.
Like next week, I wouldn't mind if he came dressed like the Big Boss Man.
Right?
Not
just
like
switch it up, yeah.
Not Attitude Era Big Boss Man, but like old school with the actual police uniform.
Oh yeah, for sure, with the nightstick and everything. Yeah, the blue. Yeah, that'd be dope.
I appreciate his performance, but like I've liked, especially like the last time Dean was trying to be nice to Ellsworth, and he was like, this is his last chance to get a title shot. And he was trying to be nice, but he also was like fed up with him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he's sneakily becoming my favorite of the three again. He is like the favorite person to watch. Like, I can't wait. What's gonna do next?
Here's a secret I'm gonna tell you. That's true with me too. You heard it here, folks. Dean Ambrose is my favorite member of the Shield trio.
You know, I always love Roman. I look forward to his matches, but like when there's a storyline and somebody's in the ring talking about him, all I feel is dread, because I'm like,
yeah,
the script is so wrong.
It's so bad. It's so shitty.
So wrong. It's shitty, and it's not him. Like, at the most, he should be friend to the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he's a face, be cool, but he has to be the friend, the top guy.
Yeah.
Not have the attitude like John Cena. That's like, he's an asshole. He's way more of an asshole than like, and he's terrible at faking it. So I don't know. So is Seth Rollins. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Seth legitimately in real life seems like a dweeb, and he seems like a guy, like if I went to high school with him, he would be the guy that would be talking shit. I don't know this move or that move, and then I'd have him like tapping out in the playground. He'd be like, I knew those guys.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, yeah. Think I can't make you tap out?
Man, now that you said that, now I'm just imagining the entire roster in like middle school, and I'm like trying to envision it. It's actually quite entertaining, I'll tell you.
I told you that, like, for people, I am a writer, and I sometimes do fantasy things. I actually wrote a story about the Shield in high school.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
It was something else. It was Dean Ambrose. So he was like he lived on his own trailer out by himself, and like the job that like his family was putting so much pressure on him, but he just wanted to hang out with like the rejects, which were Dean and Seth. Like the star football player and like skater kid. I had CM Punk in the book running like tight coats. It was funny. Like
I have no words for that. What were you even talking about? SmackDown. SmackDown was good. That was good. Dean was good. James Ellsworth, I'm kind of over. Like with you, like it's I see that he's a useful plot device, and he remains inexplicably super over with live crowds, which is good. You know, it's fine if I don't necessarily love that, because the fact that the crowd is so hyped for it and like so excited, like again, that it rising tide, you know, if something is exciting on the show, even if it isn't personally appealing to you, other things on the show are going to seem more lit.
Yeah. I think it's about time for him to be out of the main event, but I wouldn't be like, no, like, you know, he signed a contract, and I was like, legitimately, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I kind of knew it was gonna happen, but if he's like somewhere else on the show or doing his thing over here, now if that some bitch challenges for like, they gave him a championship opportunity, they didn't say championship opportunity. In the opening promo, I don't think so. And I was thinking, what if they want to put him against the Miz? Now, see, that we can't do that. We can't be having that because they'll fuck around. No,
he definitely said WWE World Championship opportunity. He definitely said that.
WWE will throw a loop because I was thinking, do not put a title on Ellsworth, please.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, what people are speculating and what I hope is the case is that AJ just like murders him in the title match, just incessantly finds a way to like take Dean out, and then just like he ganks Dean backstage beforehand and like incapacitates him so he can't make a run in at all, and then he just wails on Ellsworth for like 10 minutes and just like talk shit the whole time and just looks so like such a big jerk that he is. Like I think that would be a really good way to like take Ellsworth off the show for a couple of weeks, you know, because like if he's on the show every week, it's gonna get old real fast. Like he's a super limited performer. Like his whole thing is like, look at this guy. He sucks at basically everything, and he looks ridiculous.
Yes, that is. You know? His gimmick is what a loser.
What a fucking loser! Look at this guy. He's like 31. He's like our age, and he looks like he's like, I don't know, 47, but also 14. It doesn't make any sense, you know.
Damn, Andrew. No, that's a shoot right there. I still think Vince McMahon is just getting the wrong kind of giggles out of.
Oh, he's loving the shit out of it, no doubt about it.
He's
like, look at this guy. He's probably feeding JBL those lines.
Right?
Like seriously.
That makes perfect sense, actually, because JBL be killing him.
JBL is killing it. First of all, which is really entertaining. I'm not going to lie. JBL's been really good of late with Ellsworth stuff. Has. Especially with the Ellsworth stuff. But even like as a whole, he's been pretty good.
I remember I think it was a pay-per-view, in SmackDown, he told Mario he was talking too much.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. I
Like,
didn't even hear that.
okay, why do you finish so one of us can get a word in?
Wait, now that kind of sounds vaguely accurate. Yeah.
It's like, damn. Why is Tom Phillips on commentary?
That is the most bewildering thing. He's just sitting there. It reminds me of like when I'm at a party and I'm like, okay, I need to make an exit. I don't want to be here anymore, but I've like had a little too much to drink, so I'm not really thinking it through about how I'm going to go through with this. So then I just sit there and I'm like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? And then I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to get out. But like Tom Phelps just sits there for 2 hours. Like that's what he does. He's just like, well, I'm here. And then like every like 20 minutes he says 2 sentences and I'm like, who the fuck is that? Like I haven't heard that voice. Oh, it's Tom Phillips. The hell is he doing there? Yeah, it doesn't. I don't understand what his role is. I don't understand why he's there. It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know. It's very strange. It's very strange.
The best I can gather is that he's there to actually, in person, cue to David Otunga when to say what's written for him.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible.
Talking in the headset isn't doing the job.
No.
Otunga's terrible.
He's really bad. And oh my God, it was so...
He had the nerve to come after Kevin Owens.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Owens said, okay, you found a fan of your commentary. Now
you found the one fan.
The one fan of your commentary. Let's see if somebody's a fan of you in ring. And I was like, oh,
shit.
Quick Twitter. Yeah. How you gonna come against Kevin Owens with that?
Yeah, that's a mistake.
Really, that's a mistake. Like, and the fact that Alexa Bliss got
yes. I was gonna bring that up. Yeah.
That she tapped out. Like stupid. They just ran a storyline with the champion and he tapped out, but you can't do that in a triple threat match because 2 people had on a submission hold. Mm-hmm. So how are you coming at Alexa when she knew her foot was on the rope? She can tap if she wants to. That's actually smart because her foot on the ropes. But if she lets go, then that gives Alexa time to recover.
Right.
A smart heel would think. And then he keep coming, but you tap that, I was like, shut up and go away. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, when
she
put him
Harvard education and that's all you had. I was like, got him.
If that's all the evidence you have, you're gonna lose every case.
Okay, yeah, one more thing SmackDown that I noticed. It's like it was weird that the crowd seemed more into heel Usos than American Alpha. Like,
it was a weird crowd. I didn't understand the Ottawa crowd. Like, I wish it was in Toronto with the other 3 nights and like keep that crowd because that would have been super lit. That would have been great. But yeah, the Ottawa crowd was strange. I didn't understand the whole like why the Usos were so over, which was weird. I don't know. But maybe it's a sign that they haven't utilized Alpha quite enough. Like they haven't, which maybe is true, but I don't know. We'll see. I still don't think they're not going to beat the Wyatts. The Wyatts are going to win the titles.
Oh, poor little American Alpha.
And then Alpha will probably win the titles at Mania. Like that seems to be it now.
It seems to be like this might be one of those instances, Vince, if he doesn't really want to push somebody, and he is running SmackDown.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He sees like he already loves the Anoa'i family. So of course he sees the Usos getting over. Oh yeah, put the belts on them. But no, it's probably pretty much gonna be and Bray's gonna get something.
He's gonna get a championship. I mean, it's not at all like the same dynamic, but Orton as like a tag champ to like another established superstar, like what Rated RKO was, who I wasn't watching at the time, but I've like gone back and watched some of their stuff because I really like Edge a lot. But I like Orton as a tag champ because it seems like a super strong tag team, like in kayfabe, you know, like with huge legitimacy. So anyone beating them gets like a big rub, you know.
Yeah, and Luke Harper will not stop staring. He
does not trust that motherfucker.
This motherfucker jumps on Bray. He just waits. This son, I don't trust him. Yeah. The whole overall show was so fun. I was laughing all day yesterday by Baron Corbin.
Oh yeah.
On Talking Smack, they need to get. See, I don't think he's as over as he possibly could be. Some of these things on TV more. Mostly what he's doing on TV is attacking people. The real heat I feel is him like after Daniel Bryan. And when Daniel Bryan signed that match and he told him he told mom and daddy that he's coming home for good and it's your fault and then walked off, I was like, I love this man.
Right? Big banter. Yeah, him telling Daniel Bryan like these little kids doing flips and tricks. I was just like, oh shit! Like they've adapted his anti-indie geek like character from NXT to anti-small dorks, and it's so good. It works really well for him. I hope he gets a push. I hope he gets like a title of some sort in the next year. Because I think he's got a really bright future. I really do. Like I love the strikes. Great striker. We talked about this last week. Strikes are very important. Great finisher. Really good finisher. You can hit it in a bunch of different ways. Good size and good agility. Like did the whole like baseball slide around the post, like on an Irish whip that he does. Like I really like that. I really like that a lot. So I think he's another guy again that SmackDown has elevated, has done like a really good job. Who, before the brand split, he was doing that 50-50 feud with Ziggler for like 3 months and like nobody cared at all. But now it's like when he comes on, I'm like, oh shit, like some shit's gonna go down. This is gonna be fun. So he's another guy that they've done a really good job with.
Yeah, I agree. What else from this show? There was a lot. The Miz continues to be. Yesterday was Miz Giving, and it was.
Oh yeah,
Miz Giving. I wonder what is the end game for this whole thing with the Miz. I don't think there is one. Like forever and ever, as long as they're around each other, this is going to be their dynamic.
Who, Miz and Bryan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came in on NXT, and Miz was his pro.
Yep.
And Bryan looked at the Miz and was like, I don't need you. I'm a better wrestler than you. The fact that you're my pro and you're supposed to be mentoring me is a joke. Like, this is the first thing he said to the Miz when he came to the company. They've been feuding for at least 6 years.
Yeah.
I wonder, I don't think they're going to let Daniel Bryan wrestle. I think the end game is somebody he's going to pick somebody to come in and shut the Miz up. I wonder who it's going to be.
I don't know. I mean, this is a mystery. I have no idea. So here's Miz is another guy who like every time he shows up on camera, I'm like, okay, like I'm paying attention, you know? Like there isn't really anyone on Raw other than like Sasha and Bailey, like not because of what they're doing or whatever, but just because I'm such a big mark for the two of them that I'm like, all right, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and like watch this. But like there are like 15 people on SmackDown that's the case with, you know? It like somehow Natalia is one of them now. Like every time Natty's on the screen, I'm like, oh shit. You know what's funny? You know what's hilarious? I didn't even get the pun in like your heart will go on. I didn't get the heart pun, like Neidhart, heart, family. Like I didn't get that until like 2:00 today, and like somebody wrote it in the recap comments, and I was like, oh my god, I cannot believe I did not get that joke. Didn't Becky also not like call out that pun, which seems weird? I felt like she would have done that, but it was too. It was the scene was all for Alexa to just, I can't even, like 2 words into it, like I can't even, and walk off because she's the best.
What? No. She was snapping. She could not do it again. No.
Again. Yeah, that whole backstage bit with Alexa showing up. Well, Daniel Bryan and Shane talking. Alexa showing up. D-Bry splitting, getting the hell out of it. He's like, I don't want to deal with this. He's like, Shane can handle this. And then Shane gets this look on his face like, oh, shit, I don't want to deal with this. Like, Alexa's terrifying. And then Becky shows up, and they, like, banter or whatever. And then I hear the whistle, and I'm like, oh, Natty's here. And then they do that whole bit, and then, like, everybody walks off except Becky, and then Dean shows up with the pizza, and I'm just like, this is all over the place. I'm loving it. And Shane's pissed. Shane's so pissed. And then Dean gets sent off, and Becky makes the pizza Natty's arm joke, and Dean off camera heard it, love it, and I was just like, that's an A+ segment. That was so good.
Funny. It seems like they know Shane was beat up.
Yeah.
So actually Dean, he's like, he's not gonna do anything to me because he can barely walk right now. I don't even know why he's at work.
Right? Dean kept slapping him on the back really hard, and every time Shane was just like, I swear to fucking God, if you do that again. But then Dean just kept doing it. It was great. I enjoyed it. Look at that. Dean Ambrose over with me. How about it?
So we're looking forward to TLC. Oh, yes, because we forgot to talk about Nikki and Carmella getting their no DQ match. I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
That should be a lot of fun.
TLC should be good.
TLC, like the 4 matches that are already on the card are going to be a lot of fun. Like,
yep.
Ambrose Styles TLC match is going to be fun. The Intercontinental ladder match is going to be great. And I love that it's a ladder match. That seems so perfect for like a feud ender. Because Miz is winning. Let's be clear here. The title is not going back to Ziggler. Miz is absolutely retaining. Especially because it was like, all right, this is like it. This is it. So like they're not going to do a thing where like Ziggler wins it back and then Miz has his rematch, you know? Like I feel like this is the definitive close for this feud. I don't know what's going to happen after that, but and then the 2 women's matches. Yeah, those 4 matches, like I'm hyped to see all of them right now. And wait, did we also get Kalisto Corbin, right? I feel like that could be a lot of fun.
The end of days onto a chair.
Yeah, that would be
like a chair. Open though. Because you know they love to do spots like that, and I'm like, where he excels the most. The reason why his matches with Ryback worked so well is because when he takes a move, it's like he's got shot with a gun.
Yeah.
And he's so little that it's not over the top.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking for TLC is gonna be lit.
That's gonna be a great show. And
And
we'll get some sort of tech. We'll get Wyatt's versus Slater Rhino, which should be fun.
if it gets to that, I really to see them kill Heath. Like, just because he's so over,
He's so over, yeah.
it's not gonna hurt him. Whatever he does next, he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Kill Heath and gets the more heat on the Wyatt. Because I think they're setting something big up for them.
They could do like an interim feud after like Slater Rhino lose the belts. They could do like a Slater Miz feud. I feel like that could be a lot of fun.
Are you looking forward to like from Raw whatsoever?
No, I'm just waiting. I'm gonna probably watch next Monday for like the women's championship match and just be annoyed the whole time because I know Charlotte is winning in her hometown as the heel, almost certainly clean too, probably. Like, it's like, I understand that, you know, the end game here is Sasha is going to turn heel, which makes sense. She is far better as a heel. There's no doubt about it. She's one of the best heels on the planet. But she's over as a face. Like, the crowd's been into her the whole time and wanted to cheer her and wanted to get behind her, and they just never gave her a run. Like, never at all. And so it's just frustrating because now it's like I don't want to boo her. Yeah, I don't even want to boo her against Bayley. Like, I don't, you know? Now it's like there's some dumb, like, shoot thoughts that are coming in here. Like, well, Vince won't push, like, again, a little person. How about it? The little multiracial woman. But, you know, I'm not going to go down that road. I don't know. It's just been very frustrating.
Yeah, if people that has nothing to do with it. Like, Cat Williams has a joke about Obama, and it kind of goes with WWE and their champions, presidents with champions. Give me the book for the presidents. White. Give me the book with all the WWE women's champions. White. Oh, there's an Asian there. White.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. It's disingenuous. And I quite frankly get sick and tired of like old black Southerners. If you want to know if something is racist, I don't care what race is involved. Go ask an old black Southerner, is it racist? They be like, yep.
They will be able to tell, yeah.
Yep. But, you know, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Book form, it gets better. You have any more thoughts to wrap up the week? Anything left out?
I was thinking about, since it's the night before Thanksgiving, I was thinking about the night before Thanksgiving last year. It was an NXT episode, and it was the Bayley versus Ava Marie championship match. And so I went back and watched that before NXT tonight, and man, that was such a hoot. People were so freaked out about that. It is so entertaining. So
yeah, they were.
If you haven't watched that match, if you folks haven't watched that match in a while, you should put that on because that was a lot of fun. And then NXT tonight, they showed the bit where Billie Kay and Peyton Royce approached Daria backstage to like ask her to be the partner. And I mean, of course I did. But Billie and Peyton in that segment were so good because they were just like tentative. Like they're the mean girls, you know, whatever. But they're still like, it's kind of a front, you know, like it's tentative. So like Daria. And then she turns around and gets in Billie's face. And they're like, we need a partner. And the Peyton kills me. Her line, she says, "Are you interested in the opportunity?" And like the way she says it is just like, oh my God, this is so good. This heel dynamic is just so good. It's just like you think you run shit, but you really don't, you know? So I don't know, just that are you interested in the opportunity? Like oh man, great stuff. Yep, that's all I have. Just marking out about the icons, you know, like usual.
That's good. Well, since it is the day before Thanksgiving,
Are we say what we're thankful for?
We're thankful for in wrestling.
Okay.
I'm thankful that, you know, there's still people who want to do it. Wrestling is a hard fucking business, so I'm thankful for all the men and women who get their ass up and go through it to entertain me. Cage side seats, even though I can't get on the site right now.
Yeah, what's that about? You gotta figure that out.
Andrew, so, you know, we can do this podcast every week.
Good old cage side. It's there was a post from Things today in the Daily, which she like went back and watched. I don't was it Survivor Series 2014? It was some pay-per-view from 2014. And she talked about she wrote briefly about the women's match in it and how like ridiculous it was and like bad and, you know, still very like old divas, you know, style. And she was just like, you know, there's been a lot of progress made in 2 years. So like we'll bitch. I mean, we'll bitch because we're wrestling fans. We're gonna bitch about anything. Right. They could have put the title on Sasha from day one and she'd still have it, and I'd still bitch that they were booking her poorly. That's a shoot. You know that's a shoot too. So, but like seeing that there has been progress made, a lot of it has been, it's good to see, you know, and it took way too long, but you know, better late than never, I guess. So I don't know that. And I'm thankful for the cage side community who, you know, remain the best damn wrestling community on the internet, simply because everyone comes at it from their own perspective. And for the most part, I mean, like there's some feuds, whatever, in the comments section, but for the most part, people are interested in hearing what others have to say. And that's great. I'm really happy that I stumbled upon this place.
So thanks to Sean and Gino cultivating this great community, and just want to let everybody know, you guys listening to this show, want you to have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you next week. Bye.